Good afternoon. Just let me start by apologizing. I am so sorry that I had to reschedule our session last week, but I did have a slight cough, and with everything going on with the pandemic, I just wanted to ensure that we were both safe. So, thank you again. Thank you again for your understanding and your patience. Yes. So, we have a lot to catch up on. How are things going with your journaling? I see. In our previous sessions, we discussed the importance of family. Do you believe that their concerns are embedded in your alcohol use and depression? Mm. How does that make you feel when he says that? Have you ever asked him what he means when he says it? That sounds exhausting. On the days that you do, though, you are exercising strength and resilience to make it through the rough days. Have you ever heard of a term called self talk? What do you say to yourself on those days that helps you get through them? I understand. It's easy when we're tired, lonely, or confused to only see the negative. But if we focus on what we want instead of what we don't want, we can choose to change the directions of our focus. In your journal, have you noticed any things that make you more sad or angry? I see. When you're feeling sad, what would happen if you focused on positive things in your life? Things that give you joy or purpose? Mm. And you believe this is due to your alcohol abuse and depression? What would happen if you were able to alleviate these things? What would that look like for you? Okay, so you're currently working. What things are working well for you at work? What would you do to change this situation? And what would that look like for you? In the few weeks that we've been working together, you've sought counseling for things that you were struggling with. You've made positive strides in identifying things that you want to work on, not to mention that you are having better communication with your family. These are things that you've done well. And I believe they're a step in the right direction to getting back to that person. Do you? Can you elaborate a little more? Hmm. So, we talked a little earlier about patterns, or as I like to call them, triggers. In your journal, what have you noticed happening before you begin to feel this way? Perhaps you and I can work together on a plan to help you prepare for these situations. Then that would alleviate some of the stress and anxiety that you have around it. That's great. Now that you have come to this realization, we can begin our work together. Coming to counseling is a great first step. I believe that your journal will help us in devising our next step. That is understandable. We all experience some fear on some levels. But what I remind myself of often is if it doesn't change me, I'm sorry, if it doesn't challenge me, then it doesn't change me. Let's look at a few things that we can do to invoke that change. Interesting. Instead of trying to get rid of the problem, we could try to change your actions and your words towards it. For instance, instead of feeling lonely, you could try to fill your life with love and connection. You have that loving connection with your family, right? We have covered a lot of information today. I just want to review a few things to make sure that we're both on the same page. We talked again about your family's expectations and concerns, as well as some of your own. I spoke a little bit about self talk and resilience. You explained that you were having some issues at work, and we talked about how you might have thought that we could invoke change in that situation. You expressed a desire to continue or make additional changes in other areas in your life, and in what ways we could initiate those changes. I think we're off to a great start for this week. I would like for you to complete the SMART goals sheet I have given you. And definitely, if you have any questions, we can go over those. And then when you come back, we'll compare our notes and see what you come up with. And then we'll devise a plan towards the goals and make the changes that you're looking to make. How does that sound? Great. I'll see you next week.